At 1:48 in the morning on August 13th, 2018, Shanann Watts walked through her front door for the very last time. She was 34 years old, 15 weeks pregnant, and she had no idea that the man she'd spent 8 years building a life with had already decided she wouldn't make it to sunrise. What happened inside that house over the next 3 hours is one of the most disturbing true crime cases this country has ever produced. And he told us exactly how he did it, in his own words. Before we talk about what was taken from this world, we need to talk about who was taken. Shanann Catherine Watts was born on January 10, 1984, in Aberdeen, North Carolina. She was funny, loud in the best way. The kind of person who made every room feel fuller just by walking into it. She had lupus, an autoimmune disease she managed every single day, largely through sheer willpower. She married Christopher Lee Watts on November 3rd, 2012. They had 2 daughters, Bella Marie, born December 17th, 2013, and Celeste Catherine, Cece, born July 17th, 2015. And in the summer of 2018, Shanann found out she was 15 weeks pregnant with a boy they planned to name Nico. She documented all of it. Shanann was active on Facebook Live, constantly posting videos of her life, her girls, her husband, her work selling health products for a company called Lavelle. To the thousands of people who followed her, the Watts family looked like a dream.
Good job, Cece.
That video, right there. That's why this case cuts so deep. Because behind that image, behind those smiles, those Facebook Lives, those "I love my husband" posts, there was something very wrong. Something Shanann was trying desperately to fix, even as the man she was trying to fix it with was pulling further and further away. In the summer of 2018, while Shanann was pregnant, she took the girls to visit family in North Carolina for 6 weeks. It was supposed to be a family trip. Chris was supposed to join for the last week. He barely called. He barely FaceTimed the girls. He bought a self-help relationship book called Hold Me Tight that Shanann ordered for them. According to the discovery documents released by the Weld County District Attorney, Chris Watts threw that book in the garbage without opening it. He had already started sleeping on a different floor of the house. He'd already told his girlfriend, yes, his girlfriend, that he and Shanann were in the process of separating while his wife was 6 weeks away, carrying his child. Her name was Nicole Kessinger. She was a co-worker at Anadarko Petroleum, and she had absolutely no idea that the family she'd been told was falling apart was very much still intact. On August 7th, Shanann flew to Arizona for a business conference, a Thrive event with her friend and colleague Nicole Atkinson. She was excited. She was still trying. Even from Arizona, she was texting Chris things like, and I'm reading this directly from the discovery documents here, "I am still in shock we are having a little boy. I'm so excited and happy. Thank you for letting me hold you this morning. It felt good." He did not match her energy. He never did anymore. On the night of August 12th, Shanann's return flight was delayed. It was almost 2 in the morning by the time Nicole dropped her off at 2825 Saratoga Trail. the family home in Frederick, Colorado. Nicole Atkinson later told police she watched Shanann walk through the front door. She watched the door close. That was the last time anyone outside that house ever saw Shanann Watts alive. According to Chris Watts's own confession to investigators in February 2019, Shanann came to bed around 2 in the morning. They had sex. Then, sometime around 4 or 5 a.m., Chris woke her up. He told her he didn't feel compatible anymore. He wanted to cancel their upcoming trip to Aspen. He wanted to know if they could move to Brighton, a smaller town, a fresh start. Shanann had heard enough. She looked at him and told him she knew he had someone else. He denied it. And then she said something that, according to his own words, changed everything. "You're never going to see the kids." Chris Watts described what happened next in that prison interview, and I want you to hear this directly.
How long did it seem for you?
Almost kind of felt like it was longer almost, because it felt like time was standing still. It's kind of like I just saw my life just disappearing before my eyes, but I couldn't let go. It was like somebody else, like if you picture somebody else around you, holding your hands, holding you, keep you from not letting go.
He strangled his pregnant wife to death in their bed. He then got up, pulled the bedsheet off the mattress, and started wrapping her body. That's when Bella walked in, 4 years old, pink blanket in her arms. She looked at her father standing over her mother's body, and she asked, "What's wrong with Mommy?" He told her Mommy wasn't feeling well. He dragged Shanann's body down the stairs, Bella watching the whole time, crying. He put Shanann's body on the floor of the back seat of his work truck. Then he went back inside and told both of his daughters to get in the truck. Bella and Cece, alive. At 5:17 in the morning, neighbor Nathaniel Tranastik's home security camera picked up something unusual. Chris Watts backed his pickup truck all the way into the garage. That never happened. In all the months of footage Tranastik had stored, he never parked it there. He always left the truck on the street. But that morning, Tranastik's camera caught Watts making multiple trips in and out of the garage, carrying what investigators would later confirm were the bodies of his wife and daughters. A red gas can was also loaded into the truck bed. He drove 40 miles east to an Anadarko petroleum oil field called Survey 319, a remote site near Rogan-Weld County, Colorado, a place he knew, a place he chose. At that site, he pulled Shanann's body out of the truck. His daughters, still alive in the back seat, looked out and asked him, "What are you doing to Mommy?" He didn't answer. We'll come back to what happened at that oil field, because first, we need to talk about what he did next, which was go back home, shower, and wait. By noon, Nicole Atkinson was at the front door. Shanann had missed her prenatal appointment. She wasn't answering texts. Her phone was found wedged between the couch cushions. Her car, with the girl's car seat still inside, was parked in the garage. Her keys, her purse, and her medication were all still in the house. and Shanann's wedding ring was sitting on the nightstand. He'd placed it there deliberately to make it look like she left him. The police were called. Chris arrived shortly after. He shook an officer's hand, ran into the garage, went inside through the garage door, leaving the officer and Nicole standing outside for nearly a full minute before he let them in. When they walked through that house, the officers noted it was immaculate, barely a toy out of place for a house with 2 toddlers. That same afternoon, Nathaniel Trinastish came over and told police he had camera footage facing the Watts driveway. Everyone went next door to watch it together, including Chris. And this is where the body cam footage catches something extraordinary.
Park out there on the side and like get everything back in. Maybe just so lugging everything out there, all the tools that I had to bring in.
Because if there was any sort of action out there,
On his camera, it's
I
like,
would have got it.
like
Right.
we had issues the other week when people were stealing stuff out of like garages and stuff like that. And I had parked my truck
I
up
had
here.
to park right here.
Yeah. So someone,
See if
I could see where
yeah.
someone tried to jim me with a flathead screwdriver over there.
But yeah, I thought.
No.
Just have a feature. Rock the back and forth, and if you look.
The next morning, August 14th, he stood in front of cameras.
And my last question, if you have any of them, so feel free to step in. My last question is, if your wife can see this, if she can watch this, what would you like to tell your wife and your kids?
Shanann, Bella, Celeste, if you're out there, just come back. Like, if somebody has her, just please bring her back. I need to see everybody. I need to see everybody again. This house is not complete without anybody here. Please bring her back.
That's it. I can take that mic off you.
He already knew where they were. He put them there. On August 15th, the FBI and the Colorado Bureau of Investigation were both on the case. Chris Watts came in for a second round of questioning, this time including a polygraph examination administered by investigators. The lead interrogator was CBI agent Tammy Lee. She would later describe this case as unlike any she had encountered in her career. Chris Watts failed the polygraph completely. At that point, investigators changed tactics. They brought someone into that interrogation room that Chris had not expected. His father, Ronnie Watts. According to the Weld County DA discovery documents, Watts told investigators, "I want to talk to my dad first, then I'll tell you everything." What happened in that room, caught on the police station's internal security cameras, was the beginning of the unraveling. Chris confesses to Ronnie he killed his wife, claiming she killed the girls first. It was a lie. But in that moment, Watts thought he could still talk his way out. He couldn't. When Agent Tammy Lee and the investigators came back in, they told him they knew he was still lying. And then they said this: "You did the hard part. All you have left is to tell us where they're at." Watts tearfully responded, "They're gone. There's no bringing them back." He then told investigators the bodies were at that first location I went to that day. Survey 319, the Anadarko oil site near Rogan, Colorado. Investigators arrived at the site at 11 p.m. that night. They found Shanann Watts buried in a shallow grave, curled in a fetal position, face down in the dirt. According to the CBI laboratory manager David Maloney, who was on scene, it was almost discarded like trash and then covered with dirt. The girls were in the oil tanks. It took 14 hours the following day, August 16th, for investigators to drain those tanks and recover Bella and Celeste. 14 hours. Chris Watts was arrested late that same night. August 15th, 2018, at 11:02 p.m., he was 33 years old, and he would never sleep outside a prison cell again. Chris Watts pleaded guilty on November 6th, 2018, to all 9 counts against him. 5 counts of first-degree murder, 1 count of unlawful termination of a pregnancy, and 3 counts of tampering with a deceased human body. He did not speak about what actually happened. He said nothing. 3 months later, on February 18th, 2019, investigators from the CBI, the FBI, and Frederick Police Department flew to Wisconsin and sat down with him at Dodge Correctional Institution. The interview lasted 5 hours, and for the first time, he told the truth. He told them about CERV I-319, about what happened in the truck.
Couldn't I have, saved my girl's life? Couldn't I have done something? Why did I do it? I don't know.
Right.
This is my flesh and blood. This is what I wanted all my life, was to be a dad, just to have, kids, and they love me, all that, and it just nothing made sense.
Right.
Like the oil tank, nothing made sense. I'm just like, what the doing?
Mm-hmm. So what happened when you got out there?
I took Shanann out just to a place off to the site,
Mm-hmm.
and then
What were the girls doing when you were doing that?
just sent them back to the truck.
And then what happened after that?
CC was first. She did have a blanket. She had a blue blanket. A Yankee blanket.
So was she alive when she went into the oil tank? No?
Yeah. I put the blanket over her head.
And that's how she passed. Couldn't breathe.
I put the blanket over her head. I didn't want to. No. I strangled her right there in the back seat.
Okay.
What was Bella doing?
She was sitting beside her.
Did she understand? Did she know what was going on?
She didn't say anything.
And then the same for Bella. Just without a blanket.
With the blanket.
Oh, okay.
I didn't look. It's like every time I closed my eyes, I started to see her say, "Daddy, no," and that was it.
That's what Bella said.
I hear that every day.
Do you really? Sorry, man.
I'm sorry, it doesn't really take anything back that I did.
I know. Is it possible that in your mind you didn't want them to suffer throughout their life? Was this like a mercy thing?
I mean, you can say that after the fact, but it was just I don't.
You didn't feel like that during it?
I just didn't. I felt like it was just an anger with Shanann, with everything, that I was just taking it out on everybody that was in front of me that morning.
Yeah.
I mean, kids growing up without their parents, depending on what grandparents or whoever they grew up with, seemed to be fine. But it was just it was an anger thing. It was just
And what were you so angry at Shanann about? If you could pinpoint it.
nothing that makes anybody to want to do this. I mean, you could be angry at your spouse like your whole life, but you should never have done anything like this. You should never let it get to that point. But I let it get to a point where I've never been angry before. Like, this was like the epitome of being angry.
Yeah.
The epitome of like showing a rage. The epitome of like losing your mind. I mean, even like some people in here said, dude, like, the heck happened? You must have freaking snapped. And like, I just walk away. I'm just like, it's I don't see it in my mind how it could, like, I look outside every day and like, what could we be doing right now?
Yeah.
But, right now I'd have a 5-year-old, a 3-year-old, and more than likely a 1-month-old son. And a beautiful wife. And just like, right now it's just me.
He smothered 3-year-old Celeste with her blue Yankees blanket in the back seat of the truck, while her 4-year-old sister Bella sat right next to her and watched. He dropped Celeste's body into the east oil tank, feet first. Then he went back to Bella. Bella, 4 years old, looked at her father and asked him, "Is the same thing going to happen to me as Cece?" In his own words, in his own recorded voice, Chris Watts told investigators, "I don't know if I said yes, like a horrible person, or if I just put the blanket over her and did the same thing. Daddy, no." Those were the last words Bella Marie Watts ever spoke. Her father confirmed it himself. He placed her body in the west oil tank. Then he buried Shanann in a shallow grave with a shovel. After the rake he used to clear the brush broke, he drove home, showered, texted his girlfriend, texted Shanann's phone to make it look like she had left him, called the girls' school to pull them out, called a real estate agent about selling the house. On November 19th, 2018, Christopher Watts sat in Courtroom B of the Weld County District Court in Greeley, Colorado. Orange jumpsuit, hands folded, head largely down, and the people he had destroyed got to look him in the face. Shanann's father, Frank Rzucek, walked to the podium first.
"I trusted you to take care of them, not kill them. And they also trusted you, the heartless monster, and then you take them out like trash. You disgust me. You monster. Thought you would get away with this. You have to live with this vision every day of your life. And I hope you see that every time you close your eyes at night."
Our daughter Shannon loved you with all of her heart. Your children loved you to the moon and back. Your daughter Bella Marie sang a song proudly. And I don't know if you got to see it, but it was, "Daddy, you're my hero." I have no idea who gave you the right to take their lives. I didn't want death for you because that's not my right. Your life is between you and God now, and I pray that He has mercy for you.
Nothing less than a maximum sentence would be appropriate. With regard to count number 1, murder in the first degree as it relates to Shanann Watts, the court is going to sentence you, sir, to a life sentence in the Colorado Department of Corrections, followed with no possibility of parole. Deputies, I would respectfully ask that you take this defendant into custody and have him serve the rest of his life in the Department of Corrections.
Christopher Watts was sentenced to 5 life terms without the possibility of parole. 3 consecutive, 2 concurrent, plus an additional 48 years for the unlawful termination of Shanann's pregnancy, and 36 years across 3 counts of tampering with the bodies. He will die in prison. On December 3rd, 2018, He was transferred out of Colorado for safety reasons. 2 days later, he arrived at Dodge Correctional Institution in Waupun, Wisconsin, where he remains to this day. I want to end this the same way we started it. Not with him, with her. Shanann Watts spent years building something real on Facebook Live. Not for fame, not for money, really. She genuinely wanted people to see what she had, what she believed in. She filmed Bella singing. She filmed Cece running. She filmed Chris reading to the girls at bedtime and captioned it, "One tough daddy." She filmed herself the moment she found out she was having a boy. She was glowing. Nico Lee Watts. That was going to be his name. None of it was fabricated. The love she had for those girls, that was real. Her daughter once looked at a camera and sang, "My daddy is a hero. He helps me grow up strong."
My daddy is a hero. He helps me grow up strong. He helped me snuggle too. He reads me books. He ties my shoes. If you're a hero, blue and blue, my daddy, I love you.
Oh, I love.
Bella Marie Watts was 4 years old when she died. Celeste Catherine Watts was 3. Shanann was 34. Nico never got a single breath. Shanann's parents, Frank and Sandra Razuchek, have spent every year since fighting to keep their daughter's name attached to who she actually was, not to the man who killed her. They have faced harassment, conspiracy theories, people who somehow still take his side. This video is not for him. It is for her, for Bella, for Cece, for Nico. And it is a reminder that behind every true crime headline is a person who woke up one morning and had no idea it would be their last. Shanann Watts came home at 1:48 in the morning, thinking she was walking into her own house. She deserved so much more than what she got.